Yep. Y'all gotta excuse me. I got like a little sinus thing going on. But yeah, so time is precious. And we only here on this earth for a short period of time. If you think about it, we're all just visitors. We are passing through this place. And it's all about, really, what are you gonna do with your life? Come on, Chino. What are you gonna do with your life? You know, there's more to this life and this. Oh, what's this? Hold on. I'm getting used to this camera, man. Dang. This thing is nice, though. I gotta admit, it's kind of convenient, kind of easy. I'm looking forward to some of these travels we got coming up. You know, I'm gonna be a passport brother out here traveling the world. But I'm probably gonna have a different take on it. You know, because a lot of people out there, they're showing you the beauty that's out there. A lot of single brothers out there mingling with a lot of beautiful women, enjoying the delectable food out there they have. Come on, Chino. And just showing you that there's a whole lot more out there to experience in this life if you're willing to go ahead and put in the work to get that. Like a lot of the other passport bros, I'd encourage all of you all the fellas, do that. You know, commit. You gotta excuse me breathing all heavy. Like I said, I got some sinus stuff going on. Not to mention, I'm probably heavier than I need to be. I'm about 220, 5'9". We're gonna work on that though. I'm really considering retirement. I'm 61, plan on retiring maybe in about 7 months, September. Getting that Social Security started at 62. Because who knows if we're going to be around at 67 or 70 or whatever, you know? Yo, Chino out here chilling, smelling on everything, trying to mark up stuff. Come on, Chino. But what y'all think? When you get old enough, would you take Social Security when you're 62? I know a lot of my friends are. They're like, bump this, I'm tired, I'm ready. I'm ready to start living life. But anyway, yeah, time is ticking. Our time here on this earth is precious. And the stuff that a lot of people think is so important right now, willing to give up their freedom for, willing to hurt others for, willing to even die for, isn't even going to be a thing probably in the next life, you know? Surely really wouldn't mean that much now. You know? Jealousy and people fighting over women and men, and just ain't worth it. A lot of people get that now, though. If somebody doesn't want to be with you and they cheating on you, let them go. You know, be with somebody that loves you and respects you and likes you. That would be my whole thing, even in the dating climate today. You know, first things, fellas, get with a woman that likes you. You know, if a woman likes you, you're going to know it. It's going to come across in her behavior and how she acts. If a woman really likes you, she probably is going to be asking you to pay 100% of everything, and with his baby's mamas wanting you to pay for the babysitting and get the nails done and the hairs did. And hairs, I mean the hair on their head and the eyelashes. You know? Bump all that. Especially if you just getting to know them too. I can imagine maybe investing if you were like maybe serious about somebody if you want to, or especially like if you marry, that's a whole different world then. But when you're dating, you're just dating. You're just getting to know one another. So bump all that. It wasn't like that back in the 80s and 90s and even 2000s. I noticed things starting to change. Probably in the mid to late 2000s. You know, past 2010 when I started noticing a little difference. Look at Chino. Hold up. Chino always try to act like he the big on the block. Chino, come on. Chino, come on. Come on. Come on. This joke is, come on. This joke is funny. He like 12 pounds. Soaking wet. And trying to act like he hard with the other dogs. Most of the time, especially the little ones, he's friendly with, but a couple times there was some dogs off leash. Owners were being too mindful of it. They run up. They tried to get at him. So I had to intervene. You know? So we got some defensive measures. You know, me picking him up if need be. But then some of the others, let me show y'all. Okay. Whoop. Can y'all see this? We got this stick. Got that walking stick. We got that pepper spray. Put a little pepper in their nose if they act up. They get thumped upside the head if they act up. You know, most of the time we can go ahead and comment before it gets to that point, but if not, they got to get dealt with. Kind of sad because I like animals. I don't want to hurt a dog. Dog just being a dog, right? But anyway, you know, I think about that whole dating situation. The whole dating situation. And it's rough out here. Doesn't have to be, but it is. But I would encourage my fellas, man, don't settle. Get your best in this life, in relationships, everything. You know, God has made you the head of your household. Talk about you a king, you are. You're a king of your kingdom, your life, your castle, your body. You know, let's get that together in 2025 and beyond. Like me, my body fat up. They have to scale now. I'm not getting no sponsorship. I might have to explore that one of these days because this scale is tight. Renfo. It gives you all these body measurements like tracking your visceral fat, subcutaneous fat, if I'm saying that right. All this stuff, your body fat, your body weight, water, if you're getting enough protein, all these different kind of things. So, you know, some people are, you know, haters. Haters always gonna hate. So they might say, those numbers aren't right. It's not accurate, but it's a measure. It's a barometer, you know. It gives you something to compare against. So, but anyway, Renpho, R-E-N-P-H-O. And it has an app that gives you the readouts and it compares. Every time you measure, you can track your goal weight and, you know, kind of get a gauge on where you at, where you need to, what you need to do and where you need to go to get there. Okay? So a lot of y'all that don't really exercise too much, look at it, look at it. Don't exercise too much, you get out here like me and Chino and get to walking. Start with like 10,000 steps a day. You know, or take it to the gym. Start getting some weight training in. But it is now February 7th or 8th. It's early February. I could look this up later. But if I retire in September, that'll be 7 months. So that gives me 7 months to get down to my military weight, probably around 175, 180. Hopefully body fat below 15%. So if y'all with me, get on this fitness kick, this spiritual fitness kick, get your bodies right and tight. Come on, join in. 10,000 steps a day. Let's say maybe 100 push-ups a day and 100 crunchies. How about that? Y'all with that? Can y'all do that? So that'd be the benchmark, and we can improve on that once it gets real easy as we move forward. And y'all can comment and make your recommendations, and we can go on this journey together. But with this journey. This obviously is a journey of betterment and improvement. But at the same time, we're going to put God first in this thing. Because I've been asking him, what does that really mean when you talk about being led by the Spirit? You know? In all our ways, acknowledge God, heaven and its righteousness, and all things will be added. You know? What does that mean? All things being added. That means you're going to be part of every aspect of our life? I don't know what that means. And I want to start connecting with other people that are being led by the Spirit, not by their flesh. Because I've been led by my flesh for the majority of my life. And while I've been able to accomplish some things, some measure of success, according to the world standards, man, I'm nowhere near where I need to be. And nowhere from what I believe is the purpose that God has for my life. Because I think about, let's say if I'm fortunate enough to make it to 80, that's 19 years. You know? Let's say if I make it to 90, that's 29 years. That's less than 30 years away. And we are able to have the standard of living that we have because of the sacrifices and the work of other people. If you think about how dependent we are on people for our quality of life, it's wild. You know, and that's what it's about. It's about, you know, God had mentioned, well, one of the disciples had asked, what are the two most important commandments? And it's to love thy Lord, thy God with all thy mind, heart, soul, and strength. And to love thy neighbor as thyself. So it's about loving God first, obviously, and then loving others. People have died so that we can have the quality of life that we have. And I'm like, man, what can I do? What's my contribution to the betterment or advancement of society, of human race? You know, just going forward, well, what is my contribution? Right now, I say not too much. Working as a software test engineer, being a military person. Some say, oh, you help with the national defense. Okay, yeah, I did that. Oh, you helping to make the product that people are using for their internet service better. Yeah, okay. They ain't saving no lives or really changing nobody's life, you know what I'm saying? Technology changes, and I'm thinking internet services is definitely going to change, and streaming is probably going to be the main thing. But what am I going to do? So I think I'll be feeling it in my spirit, like maybe I should just come out here and just be a voice for spiritual development, you know? I believe that God talks to his people today. And I could tell you some experiences I've had personally, and I know there's a lot of people out there that can relate. Well, I've literally heard him audibly, and a lot of times through dreams and visions and impressions in my spirit. I believe he talks to all of us. But I feel, what better gifts than I can give them to share God with them, you know? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And I share my life experiences. I got a lot of different ideas as I venture into social media. Back in the 90s, I was involved in ministry. Just a little bit about my background. I was a youth minister, partnered up with some people down in Colorado Springs. And me and my boy KC, shout out to KC, we had a rap group called K&K Productions. We started up, and we'd go around the community putting on shows and get with other Christian rappers and Christian musicians and singers and speakers. And we'd put on these events, called them Youth Fest, and invite the community, have all the kids, just invite other kids, other teenagers and young people to come. And we normally get a pretty good following. And it was like a little concert out there. And it was real cool, you know. Come on, Chino. I felt like I had my purpose. Lately, some of my partners that we used to do things with, we're talking about getting together and seeing what we can do again in social media. So We're going to see if K Productions can come back to life. I don't know if we're going to be rapping out there, you know. Come on. Come on. Man, there was a big old loud noise. I don't know what that was, but they got a big dog and Chino too brave for his britches. You know. But that's how we feel. We feeling real happy today, you know what I mean? So anyway, we're going to do that. And I'll probably be doing some, you know, some podcasts or whatever you call these things. Just kind of sharing my life, sharing what's going on, sharing what some of my people are doing, some of these other warriors out here in these streets are doing for the glory of God, for the kingdom. I got somebody over in the Philippines that invited me over, you know, and so we'll probably meet them and show what they're doing. So that's what I'm thinking. Like when I start getting out there into these streets, going overseas, you know, I'm going to show you some good stuff, you know, introduce you to some new friends, show you some of the activities with the food and going to the beach or going to the mountains and showing some of these nice sights they got going on. But also, let's see what God's doing out there. Any of y'all interested in that? You know, seeing these other countries in this passport bro movement isn't about, I mean, now you got some out there, they paying to play out there, you know, and I get it. In my military days and when I was younger, I was out there playing a lot. Not paying a lot, but I was playing a lot. But that phase of my life is gone. I'm putting that behind me, and I'm moving towards by being led by the Spirit and see what we can do with this thing. See if I had the best possible life for the remainder of these years and see what this can be, and I'll share it with y'all. If you down with it, come with it. You know, you got some special skills, let's partner up and see what we can do. Present it to the world. With social media, we can touch billions. You know, plant the seed and let God go ahead and bring forth the harvest, right? But anyway, with that, I was saying, he was showing me some different things today as I was praying this morning. Just how important we all are to one another and dependent on one another. And how in actuality, there's so many people out there. You look at YouTube and TikTok and all these different mediums that people are just breaking each other down. That's the voice of the devil out there. You know, that's what he does. Kill, steal, and destroy, right? Comes to divide, and he's trying to divide people instead of bringing them together. So I encourage y'all, recognize the move of God out here in this world. Recognize the move of the evil one. And be a vessel of light. You know what I'm saying? Let's get out here, let's do it. We all got our individual parts to play. And then we can come together collectively and watch God work. You know, he says wherever two or more gather in his name, he's going to dwell in the midst. I got a story about that one. I'm going to wait till I got my witness from one of my brothers, my younger brothers, shout out. He was there to witness this. But just a mighty move of God. And then there's other scriptures that support that. You know, it was talk about like the power of people coming together in prayer, and how one can send 1,000 to flight to 10,000. You know what I mean? So there's power in our prayers. There's power in what we do. So I would just encourage y'all to get in on that and just think about it. You know, all the sacrifices of those have come before us, what they've done, and you know, basically what they've done to get us to the point where we can have the quality of life today. And we also have a part to play for those that are coming behind us. So that's where I'm at. Thank you for tuning in. Let's see what we can do with this. If you like what I'm talking about, like and subscribe. Let's see if we can build a whole movement around this thing. All right? Mad love for y'all. Don't be denied, peoples. Peace.